hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemical.
Hello, and good afternoon. It's 8 minutes past 2. I'm a slight bit late today. I had quite a few things to handle. Henceforth, I'm late, and hopefully we do have audio, because I realize I'm just chatting along. We do have audio, at least system says we should have audio. So yeah, good morning, Susan. Wonderful to see you. Yeah, so had a busy day. I am having a couple of busy days ahead. But yeah, I wanted to just hang out with you guys a bit, do a bit of crafting. Probably some of the last crafting I will have time to do this week. But that's just how it is. I have my tea, which is, I think it was the name Extrotso, the loose tea blend that I've been drinking a lot lately. Comfort tea. I made it a while ago, so it has cooled down a bit. So yeah, I had to do a few things downtown. I got them settled, so therefore I was a little bit late because I had to quickly grab some lunch. I just finished it. I have two things we can work on today. I have the PuErhTea Shawl by PuErhTea Atelier. We worked on it last live, I haven't had time to progress on it since, so we kind of continue where we left off. Or we can work on the Krølle Bølle bucket hat, which I did start. And it is me to believe in the process right now because I feel it's getting rather big. Part of that is, of course, also due to the fact that I decided to upsize my crochet hook because I tend to use um, a number or two larger than the pattern recommends because I have a tighter tension. Then last bucket hat I made and followed the pattern, I kind of upsized it probably like twice to kind of get the gauge. But there's no test swatch I can make for this one, so it's basically just test and see. So I'm kind of gambling that instead of 3.5, I need the 4.5 millimeters. I think it looks good, like visually, but I'm afraid it might become too big. But we will see. It's the progress I've made so far. So it is around center, which does curve a little bit. So personally, I feel it could have had a few more increased stitches to prevent that. But might not be too bad once you kind of wear it. And then it's like granny square or granny stitch concept, 3 double crochets in the spaces and so on. No chains between. And there are these clusters all the way around, and I change color every row. And I'm currently just started on the lights of these. And now you're probably asking me what exact color that is. It's a kind of a maroon color, but honestly, I don't remember the name of it. But give me a moment, and I will find it because I do happen. Well, I should happen um, to find it. I just need to log in on my account where I bought it like that. And yes, order history. Because now I need to know myself. I've been curious. It should have a color name. Okay. The light purple, or light purple, it's not light purple, the light pink. So this one is called a dusty rose. And then I have a bit darker one, which is this one, which is called old rose. And then I have the darker one, which is the mauve. There we go. Colorway 58, 59, and 60 from Drops Paris collection. For those curious. So the real big question is, what are we going to work on today? Are we going to continue on the shawl? Or are we actually going to see if I can make this bucket hat work? Right now it just feels really big, but it is starting to like curve down, and maybe it's just going to be just fine. But I decided I like the type of pattern in the sense of I like how it looks. So I decided I'm just following the process. It is a slightly different yarn I'm using, but weight-wise, etc., it's basically interchangeable. And I really think like this looks good, the top aspect of it. So yeah, I don't know. Are we on the bucket hat? I could also do a bit of both. Most definitely. Most definitely also a possibility. I do hope a few more people will come in and say hello to us today. That could be really nice. But let's see. I will need probably to change the light a bit, but we'll have to check as we go. So what did I do today? I went downtown to do a bit of shopping. Actually, I had to do that, and I also had to finish work, and it was raining, and I waited until everything stopped raining to leave, and but I reached to do everything I need to do, so that's positive. Let's see. Let's go to the dual camera view here, which I say I really have this day where I would like to get the dual camera from my point of view. That will be so awesome. If I get there, it could be a hat to make some sort of a setup where you might have some of it visible. I will have to see. It's a dream of mine. It's a future dream. But here you go. bucket hat, 4.5mm crochet hook, drop yarns. My yarn spindle is currently occupied by the yarn cakes from Fleur, and I progressed nicely, and I'd rather not take those yarns off because there's not much left for me to have to cake up some new yarn. So that is actually a really nice process. I've really done a lot of Fleur this past weekend. So I have, unless we are really good and we finish this bucket hat today, I won't have any finished items for the yarn talk on Friday, simply because that nothing is finished. Because I focused quite on working on Fleur. I made this goal that I wanted to work a certain amount of Fleur every week to make sure that I will actually have it finished by the end of this year. So that is where we are looking at, and I'm making a schedule so I can see how much I need to have done to either be in front or ahead of time, or as minimum be on track to have it finished by no later than the 31st of December. Was kind of my dream. And that kind of requires me to put a bit of attention on that. And a part of that is also me wanting to finish up the project. That will be really nice to have it done. Because, you know, it's we've been talking about it for a year and a half now. It just says about how slow I work, I guess. And the challenge right now, also in the summer, is I sit with it and Fleur kind of covers the whole table. Like if I was sit here, it would be like this big working on it. And it's warm because it's just a lot. It's thick. So it's getting warm to work on. So it could be that I'm trying to, before it gets really summer, to get ahead of time, so I'll have less to catch up in the autumn after it cools a bit down again. And the crazy thing is, it's not, you know, the Netherlands is never going to be as warm as um, Texas or some US states. But the thing about the Netherlands is that um, it's, you know, I don't have an air conditioning. So when it is 25 degrees Celsius, which is like, I don't know, should know that. It's like around 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, for multiple days in a row. Eventually, especially if it's for multiple weeks in a row, eventually gets so hot here that, you know, we can't keep the house cold enough. And, you know, it just gets humid and yeah. So to make room and account for everything, I've basically made a schedule. And then I need to cross down every time I've finished either a row or a side of a row. That's how I'm going to progress the coming weeks on Flow. And of course, I'd like to get some of it done before either it's gonna be too warm to work on it, because, you know, a big blanket in the summer is not fun to work on. You'd rather have some lighter sized projects by then. Next week, it's also time for me to find out what yarn do I want to bring with me to Denmark for when I'm going there. I'm gonna be in Denmark Sunday to Friday, so it's a shorter trip, and I will only have time to probably craft maybe late afternoon, evening. So maybe a single project would be enough to bring with me, or two, like a smaller project, hats probably, or something like that. The question is if I want to knit or what I want to do. It's undecided. Suggestions are welcome. So that is a plausibility as well. I need to look through my stash. And of course, that means that in 2 weeks' time, I should have been by the hobby store if everything goes well. And then we hope it's not going to be pouring down with rain while I'm there, because that's not going to be fun to go there if it's raining, because I'll be walking for 20 minutes. But yeah. So once we have completed this row of light, I'd rather just call them all mauve, because it's kind of like sort of the same color. Then we need to go to the medium one, and we need to do a total of one more repeat of all this, if I recall correct. The designer says to basically fasten off every time you get to the end of a row. So that's what I've been doing. Fastening off, sewing in ends. I am on track sewing in ends. And if the end result is that this is too big, then most importantly is I've learned something from the process, right? For if I want to make them in the future. That is currently how I look at it. What I really have to say, I love this color combination, and I do feel we might be a little bit bright, so it could be that I need to brighten first up to brighten down, but give me a moment, because it will first brighten up, and then that is actually probably a little bit more color accurate, like that. Look, isn't this gorgeous? I love this color combination. I'm really happy with this. Good, nice color combo. So I hope, obviously, that it's not going to be too big once I'm done. And if it is, I am afraid I have to order some more yarn so I can make a smaller size, because I could choose to unravel it all, but I'd rather not. Because a few things here. I've woven in ends, and we've already established that I weave in ends extremely well. So I'd rather not weave in ends again or unravel that, because that tends to fail. And then it's not that much. So I'm just going to be like, yeah, it's probably just going to be easier if it proves out to be way too big to order some more yarn. If it's going to be too big. So I hope it's not. And there is also the few people that likes hats to be a fair bit bigger than what they wear. So right now I'm just believing in the process and hoping that my tight tension will indeed fit. It was a bit weird that this pattern didn't have like a gauge measuring or estimate for if you use this size, then you have about this size circumference head or blah, blah, blah. There was like, in that sense, no guideline. It was just like, you have 3 sizes, small, medium, large. Okay. And knowing that I usually tend to need the large one, I made the large, plus I hook sized up because I do know of the tight tension. So I am really curious once we are done if it's actually gonna fit. The good thing about working on this hat, so we kind of have to work until I've finished this game, because then I finish this game, and that is good for my Decrease Mustache project. That is something that we are genuinely working on. It is 100% cotton. I actually did not know you could shrink cotton. I thought that was more a woolen thing. So now I guess I'm gonna get all the tips from you, because I've never heard about shrinking cotton. I know you can make it stiffer, but shrinking it? That was a new one. So we have darning needles. We have a scissor. And we cut. What I do is I do keep the label a bit on track because I don't know if I'm going to use it all. So it's just for me to actually remember what color it is. But I've never heard about shrinking cotton. That is definitely a new one for me. So. And Nightbot has also found his way here. Awesome. Let's see if I can dampen the cotton and put it in the dryer. Okay. Well, that's a new one for me. Definitely worth a try. In New Jersey, the weather is sunny. I want to go to New Jersey then. It's been raining here this morning. It's 63 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 70 degrees Celsius. Wind is blowing from southwest at 2 miles per hour. Humidity is 80. Well, I guess you've had rain recently as well then, because that is humid. Let's see if we can get the weather for my local area. No, we're going to get a lot of rain this coming weekend during Pentecost. Pentecost is going to be wet here. It is cloudy with a temperature of 61 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from southwest at 10 miles per hour and the current humidity is 72. It has been a little windy, so I guess that is actually pretty correct. It was somewhat windy when I was, it was blowing when I was downtown a bit earlier. So yeah, we are just basically weaving in ends because point one, I kind of need to get done on the end tail to be able to actually continue. And then I can just do all the ends while I'm at it, because who actually enjoys weaving in ends? I guess that is none. The only benefit of weaving in ends, or the only thing that's enjoyable, is I guess that it's easy to see the progress, because once it's gone, it's gone. That part I do like. Let's see, I actually want it on this side, because then I'll put it through here and we'll head back like that. And then we cut a tail. And we have another end I need to settle while we are at it. It does seem to be a bit of a calm morning today. That is something that I do want to say. Let's see. This really looks funky, so why is that? That is because I made an attempt to crochet. Well, now this looks better. Another important thing is I need to, no, that was the start of the round, because every new round I need to do one row right compared to, actually that will be here, because I'll I'm on the back side right now. And that is, I guess, to prevent all of the starting points to be at the same place. So it's kind of to help the aesthetic look of it. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning to you. I hope you've had a great night's sleep. Here we are turning on the bucket hat. I do apologize for the a bit older thumbnail for this live. I should have found a newer one, but my editing program was kinda sleepy. And then time was running and I was like, okay, whatever. So that said, it's partially related. I wasn't in the mood to wait for it. So I decided you guys would probably rather just say hello to me than having the perfect thumbnail. The weather for Prior Lake is a fog. It's foggy. You'll have to tell me if that is true. Temperature 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius. Wind is blowing from east southeast at 1 mile per hour. Quite wet still. Humidity is 90. That is humid. But yeah, obviously fog is often also sort of humid related, so that would be logic. You have allergies. Are they like related to the fog or the weather? Or is it more like, regular pollen and so on? Woohoo! One more done. Let's see. That was the outside, and we need this one, which was the light old rose. I'm not sure if that's the right name, but sure. It is dusty old. Yeah, sure, we can call it that. And we need to do it one to the right of the starting point. So we'll do like that. And we'll make a knot. Oh, related to the smoke from the Canadian fires. I am sorry. I know Utbolz is not far from those fires. Her parish or community is like helping to take some of the refugees. And I do hope that that gets solved soon. Nobody likes forest fires. It has been really dry here as well this year, actually. Like, it's only the last 2 weeks it's been really rainy. So I could actually get you guys a little bit closer. No need to be so far away. So the only downside of this pattern is really the need to constantly weave in ends. But except for that, I really like the look. So are you ladies working on anything interesting this morning? Or just hanging out? I do have one more skein of these. I knew that that was the color I was going to use the most of because it's also here. And it will also get on the brim, if I do remember correct. So I do have one more skein laying, well, about a meter that direction. But yeah, so right now it's basically quite simple. It's 3 double crochets in each space, and or between each cluster, and it's a cluster of 3. So it's just classic granny square, except I don't do chains between the clusters. Some people do that, some people don't. This pattern says that I shouldn't, so that is why I don't. Would I do it in a regular granny square? I don't know actually. I've not really made lots of granny squares, so I can't really talk of experience there. But I really like the fact that this bucket hats pattern combines the regular solid piece with a bit more airy piece. So I'm really keen to see how the end result is of this. That is for us all to see. Hopefully. I linked to the pattern also in the description box down below for those that's curious, by the way. So you should have a link to the pattern. I will have to say it is a paid pattern on the Hobby website. If you do have Hobby Plus, you can get it for free via the Hobby Plus subscription. And then I'm genuinely also challenged because I've seen yarns that I want, but I'm holding myself back, not buying. Not buying. So I would say I've been a good girl because I was tempted, but I didn't buy. This luckily goes reasonably fast. Of course, stop crochets. I don't need as such to catch stitches because I work in the chain space. What takes most time for this pattern, I think, is weaving in ends. So the real question is if I should skip some weaving, only weave in the one end and then leave the others for later. I could do that because that's kind of well attached. But weaving in the other one could be a good idea because I need to do that to continue. And that would be kind of the quickest for us all. and then we will see how many ends I'll have left. But so you just weave in half. Jump the fence where it's lowest, so to say. Normally not an option, but if that can help us get closer to looking at the end result, then I actually don't mind weaving in half of the ends later on my own. You ladies know how to weave in ends, no need for me to show you guys that. Dun, dun, dun. Two more clusters left of this row. Time to cut the yarn and weave in the end. So here we go. So that sense it's quite nice and quick, and I do think this is easily finished today. We've now done 2 repeats. I need 3 repeats, so 3 rows of each color, so to say. Da, da, da. Then we just need to tighten that a bit. And weave in these ends. So yep, we are definitely getting closer here to starting on the next color, which is the Mauve. Da-da. So one more end woven in. So what I say is I could leave this one for later and start on this one because we want to know how this is gonna look. And I have to say now it kind of helps, but it still seems like when I just do like this, it still seems big. I don't know, but when I just quickly do like this, yeah, it's probably gonna be on the bigger end. We'll see. Believe in the process. Believe in the process. And as I said, I do know that I upsized the hook because normally I need to upsize to meet the gauge. We will have to see once we get there if that was a wrong decision of mine. That said, I do feel this yarn works nicer in this hook size in any case, so that is kind of also one of the reasons I did do it. And maybe it's not gonna be too bad. Maybe it's not gonna be too bad. But it is gonna be a looser fit. I guess it's good if you have lots of hair. And if it's too big for any good use, we will have a good reason to order some more yarn and make a smaller version. Then I've also have the experience of making it, and I have a better idea of sizing. So that is part of the decision at least. But so far we still need to do another 2 rounds plus the one I'm working on. But I really like this look. I genuinely think it's a nice look. That is for sure. Don't forget to drink. And yeah, yesterday Mom had her, I believe, 5th chemotherapy treatment. Given those circumstances, she claims she's okay today, so that's positive. She will need to have some blood work done on Friday to test because the doctors mean that, or have the opinion that she might have a bit low blood percentage, and if that's still the case on Friday, they will give her a bag of blood before the next treatment in 2 weeks' time. And I really think it's nice that they keep on track like this. So that is definitely a positive. And then, yeah, so I'll be home in a week and a half. I'll be traveling again. 11 days. And by September, I should have my frequent flyer status back, which is kind of crazy. But gives a few more benefits, which is nice. I also need to get my flight tickets for September, actually. Get those ordered. It's a bit cheaper if I do it now rather than waiting. So, getting there, more than halfway around here. Then we'll still need to sew in the working end. And then there'll be 2 rows left. And then it's time to read in the pattern to see what's next. But I still have a few more of these granny clusters to go. But yeah, let me know, are you working on anything today? And if so, what are you working on? I am curious. More hats, beanies, blankets. I found a knit sweater that I wanted to do. Oh, well, sweater, it's more like a t-shirt. And I'm like, yes, that's the one. I want to make this. I really like the look of it. Problem is, it's a little bit more advanced compared to my level of knitting. So I will probably need to start by practicing my knitting skills before jumping into that. If you want me to, I can see if I can find that one. It's like a t-shirt with a really lovely pattern on the yoke. And it looked absolutely freaking gorgeous. That was the end of this one. And what I am thinking right now, which is something I probably should do, is I want to take on I have like a light sweater. It's a little bit chilly on my arms. So I am just gonna take that on. Like that. That was better. It's probably because it's not completely sunshine, so then when it's a little bit like cloudy, rainy-ish outside, it does kind of tend to feel a bit colder in here. Like that. And then let's get those ends woven in. Good morning, Sarah. Yeah, it's afternoon here, but I'm sure you know that already. I hope you had a great night's sleep and it is a wonderful morning at your end. Yes, those colors are gorgeous together. I am just only fearing a little bit that I may have made it too big for me. Not necessarily for me, but just generally size-wise, it's on the bigger end, but maybe it's not too bad. And the reason I'm saying this is because normally I need to upsize my crochet hook to make fit gauge. So I did, and there was nothing I could test swap. Like I couldn't make a test swatch because there wasn't any measurements in the pattern saying you need to knit this by this or crochet this by this or whatever. So it's basically me knowing that I usually in like 90% of the times I follow a pattern, I need a bigger hook size because my tension is just how my tension is. So I thought I'll just grab the bull at the horns and work with a bigger hook instantly, which I did. And I compared it to the other bucket hat I did. I hook sized up there too. To meet that gauge was like 2 hooks. Right now this feels like it looks really big, but it might not be too bad. It might not be too bad. Well, we could test, I guess. If so, then I should go to this one and turn this one on instead. And see, this is actually, sorry. I need to do like that, apparently. Because else I was covering my camera. Or could also move this one on the other side. Just a moment. That is probably actually better. Then if we do like this and I take off these, then we can print test to see how bad the sizing is. This might not be too bad. I do have my hair up on the back end. This might actually not be too bad. It just looks so big. Have you ever experienced that? Like you're working on a project and you're like, oh, this looks big. And then it's not that bad. The light one, we are going back to the dual camera view to continue. The light one here, the Dusty Rose, Powder Rose. I guess powder as in if you want to get a flush on your cheek. It was there, so it ended there, so I need to start there. Dun, dun, dun. The only funky thing is obviously with this one is that I need to weave in all those ends. That is definitely not a favorite task of mine. But I don't think I know anyone who actually likes weaving in ends. Oh. Let me know if you know of anyone that actually likes weaving in ends. But there was also someone who told that, I think it was their mom-in-law, who loved um, detangling yarn and making yarn balls. And I'm like, holy smokes, can you actually enjoy that? Apparently some can. I am not convinced if detangling yarn is... I remember many years ago, I was working at like a Home Depot kind of store, and they had a big box with extension cords, power cords, and they were all intertwined together in one big mess. And my boss one day came to me and said, Stine, you're very patient. Could you please detangle all of these power cords? And I was like, yeah, sure. Knowing the fact that I'm probably not that patient, but I did get them all detangled, but it took like a couple of hours. It was crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Are you a person that likes to detangle stuff, or do you rather not? I'm not a fan of it. It's also why I always tend to work from the outside of the skein and not from the center skein, unless there's a very defined center pull. Because if I need to try to go into the skein and find the center pull, I tend to fail, and I end up with yarn bath. So unless there's a very clear center pull, I will work from the outside of the skein. These yarns is actually, see, because I do have a new skein here. This is not the center pull that's out here. It's actually from this end to the outside of the skein. Fun fact. This. I prefer working from the outside because I don't like yarn bath. Because yarn bath means untangling stuff. So yeah, I said earlier this live that I had been tempted buying some yarn because I came across a new yarn store. For me, a new yarn store, that is. And they had some really nice yarns, including 20% off on a Malabrigo yarn, where I was like, oh my goodness. It's like they are Aran weight, Malabrigo Aran, which I think was a pretty decent price. And then I'm like, I'd like to have myself some Malabrigo one day. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, try imagine knitting hats out of a really nice, good merino yarn. On that note, I do have a couple of hand-dyed yarns as well in my stash. Hand-dyed merino yarns from Gasal, which is a Turkish brand. I just need to cake them up at some stage and actually knit. But I haven't done it yet because I felt I wanted to be a little bit better at knitting before using expensive yarns to knit with. Like as if I could make myself a little bit more deserving on using them. uh, I also have this idea that one day I should just basically take some time and go to the office in Amsterdam, my work office that is, because it would pay for my trip back and forth, and then I could actually do a few things while in Amsterdam, like I could visit a store or two. No, shop your stash, shop your stash. Well, yeah. Susan, some of that, Jan, would be shopping my stash if I like actually do it. The Gazelle unicorns are yarns that I do have in my stash. I have like 4 hanks of hand dyed merino yarn. It's like, I think it's Aran weight or something like that. It's 3.5 ounces to 210 yards or something like that. So 100 grams to 190 meters for the metric people. And that's in my stash. So that would be shopping my stash if I did that. But the Malabrigo look really nice too. And I can always go to stores without having to purchase anything. Like, I am in a very clear plan for 2 weeks' time when I'm going to Hobby, that the plan isn't to purchase anything. I just want to see the store and I want to feel yarns, grab inspiration, and take you guys with me. Like, you all know the website, but how is it in reality? There's not that many people doing hobby store visits. I'm like, I actually have the opportunity to do it, so I should do it, shouldn't I? You know, I guess it's similar. I see all these visits to Michael's and Hobby Lobby, Joanne, which is soon to be something in the past. And I'm like, I wish I had one like those here, but I don't, because we don't have those stores here in Europe. I don't even have a Walmart. And so all of those classic yarns they carry is not something you come across here, basically. We'll have to import it to some extent. Or I'll have to see what the price would be on like Amazon, because sometimes Amazon do have some of the yarns without like, and them being shipped more locally, so I wouldn't have to pay import tax on them. But the price is usually is quite a bit bigger or higher. So if I do that, I will have to really compare and say, okay, is it worth it compared to? Definitely taking you guys to Hobby. I promised you all I will take you with me to Hobby if I get the opportunity to go to Hobby. Which, by all likelihood, unless something changes in the planning, and now I'm talking about the treatment plan of my mom, then unless nothing changes, I should be there in a few weeks' time. That would be so cool. Like, much more fun. Much more fun than so many other things. And the challenge will most definitely be not to shop or only to shop if I have a very clear design project slash commission slash whatever. Let's see. Probably also a little bit because I'm better off offering on the hobby website. Because I only need to pay 21% valued at taxes on the hobby website compared to if I would shop in Denmark, I would have to pay 25% valued at taxes. And we have the exchange rates and everything else on top. So unless hobby has a sale on something where I only need, let's say, 1 or 2 skeins and therefore won't trigger free shipping, then it's okay. But else I would need to spend more or buy more, and that's not the goal. So if I do, would highly depend on the circumstances, but mainly I just want to bring you guys with me to show you the hobby store. I'm not really sure which of them were the first store. It could actually be this one I'm going to. Let's see if they actually have one. Yeah, it is the first physical hobby store they opened, the one I would be going to. So after they went online, so after being online, this was the first they actually opened as a physical store. And that would be the one I'm heading to. So I am curious. I am looking forward for that. Hello and good morning, oddballs. It is extremely dangerous, but it's okay because I want to show you guys how it looks there. Right? Like, this is the real thing. Like, I get so jealous when I see all these shopping videos to Michael's and Hobby Lobby and so on, but you know, the Americans can't do a hobby store shopping, but I can because you know I sorta live in the area. Well, I don't live in the area, but my family's in the area, so I will occasionally go back and forth. And if that is remotely successful, then I might be able to do it again in August. Because my July trip, I'll have my partner with me, and I'm very sure, without even doubt, to say that he will be bored to death going into a yarn store. Could I convince him going to a yarn store with me? Yes, if I paid for his travel and ticket to go to, let's say, Americas, and I said, before we're going home, I need to go to this yarn store to do a few yarn purchases because, you know, then he would probably be okay with it. But bringing him just for the sake of bringing him, he would not be a happy camper. That would not be a good plan. So that is not in my schedule, so to say. And when I am going, so when we are going in July, I'll be bringing my partner with me. There's my scissors. But yeah, it sounds extremely dangerous going to a hobby store. I agree. It is dangerous, very dangerous. Abba says, so you wouldn't be jealous of the Michaels that I go to. It's really sad. Well, some of the really value stores we have here, I'm really sad when I go there as well because I'm like, yeah, well, 10 minutes, you've seen it all. And it's kind of the same every time. So I'll need a complete different store for that. Let's see. I need this one now. So yeah, I am definitely curious as to how that's gonna work out. Let's see. I wanted to find the yarns from Gazelle, which I have because we're discussing um, so we were discussing, let's see. Adbal says, I got my hubby to go to a yarn store with me a couple of weeks ago. He even helped me pick out yarn colors. He even told me I had to get some fiber for when I get my spinning wheel later this summer. Oh, that's sweet. Mine would 99% not do that. Like, not a chance. Gazelle Sisley, this looks like the Hobby Metallico, even though that's called rock and roll. This one I haven't seen before, so viscose Australian wool. This is the one I have. Just want to look at this just for a second. It looks nice though. Very much like the Metallico, but it is not Metallico because it's viscose and merino wool. And the Metallico, I think, has something else. That's their rock and roll. Or did they discontinue the rock and roll? Looks like it. Yeah, because this is old collection. This is what I would call 9% merino wool, 70% polyamide, 21% acrylic. This is like the Metallico from Hobby, just from Gazelle. Oh, that's a shame. They discontinued it. Anyhow, this is the unicorn, and this I have some hanks of. I have, I'm not sure if it's yellow. I think it's more orange. I definitely have one hank of this, the orange out here. And then I have a hank that's like mixture between the orange and a green, but they don't have it here. So I think I have the yellow, the orange, and some like greenish colors. I would almost say like this one, like the pesto, but it's more like not very, yeah, very gated in colors, if that makes sense. But here they are too. This is some really nice yarn, by the way. So the Malabrigo I found, let's go on the website. The yarns is, I do believe it's just called worsted. The one I found. Yeah, this one. I found a store selling this yarn. And they were only like $12 on sale. 13 maybe. And from one hank you can get a hat. I just don't want to do that before knowing that I can knit decently. But here you have a nice little look of the you have different colors. Like the green one down here. The sapphire green is gorgeous. Or the forest emerald. My goodness. I want to get yarns now. Sorry. I should not. I should not. I should not. I should not. I should crochet. but that, my friends, is an extremely tempting to shop. So what I did instead is that company that had those Malabrigo yarns on sale, I signed up for the newsletter. So I don't remember, so I don't forget about them. And when I eventually have room in my stash, or what other reason can afford to get some yarn, then I have it. And then maybe they still have some good sales on, or some really nice yarns. They also had Lena Grassa, which is an Italian yarn brand. They have some really nice yarns too. I have some Lana Crochet up in my stash too. But that is definitely more like a novelty yarn type, right? They have some really, really nice yarns from Lana Crochet too. Oh yeah, it was the right one. And then technically 3, 3, 3. I should be done. So once I'm done with this row, I will need to find the pattern so we can have a look at what's next, or if I need to do more. Nice. Appa says her husband bought her elf hangs of Noro Sonata on that trip. Yeah, so there's plenty of yarns that I'd like to get my hands on, but not doing it. A part of me is even considering, and this is basically me like going all sorts of directions, right? Like yarn dyeing could be kind of cool, but then I need to be 100% realistic and conclude I just don't have the room in my house to do that. Like, no, I can't start on that too. I will need a bigger house, bigger craft room. We did for fun though talk about, and he was most definitely open for the thought of buying a different house and moving if we won the lottery, which we definitely need to be able to move. And generally, I'd really like my home. It's a perfect home for the size of us and for what we need. That is valid. But if the opportunity would arise, I wouldn't mind moving to something tiny bit bigger. Not that we need bigger, but it would be nice for when we are having visitors and a little bit more space to actually have like a real yarn room, yarn/craft room. Uh-oh, I feel I may have influenced that, is what old boss is saying, and I'll have to say, wouldn't say, yeah, no. The random talking about just kind of happened one day because we do have a bunch of things we need to get sorted at some stage. We have way too much in our house, and I guess we saw some sort of, I don't know if it was an improvement program or something like that on telly, and the conclusion was just, how can people have so little in their home? And then we're like, yeah, but people do that, especially like, when you put your houses up for sale, you need to make like it needs to look spacious. And fact is just our house does not look that spacious because we have too much stuff. So what I really should do is probably sort a bunch of things and even maybe sell some things that I'm not using. So about 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5, my mom-in-law called me and said, asked me literally, "Hey Stine, do you want an electrical bike? I'd like to gift it to you. Like it's a present." And I'm like, yeah, sure. The problem is just the shed where my bicycles are in Yeah, I have two, and my partner has one. My partner's is flat and definitely won't drive anywhere. It's like it needs fixing. Um, but if I get a fourth in there, I definitely need to sell the oldest of them because there won't be room for it. I don't use it in any case because it's just standing there. But you know, why not let's sell it? Even if it's, I don't know, 25 euros or something like that, it would be perfect for anyone. Like we have what we call a station bike. It's a Dutch term. I translated directly to English. And what is a station bike? That is a bicycle that you purchase, a really cheap, old, scrappy one that nobody would want to steal, and you would park it at the station because then, if you commute via the train, then you have an old bike standing at the station that not many would want to steal, if that makes sense. Um, yeah. Good plan. Oddball says, after I'm healed up from a surgery, I'm going to start decluttering my house too. So I really need to start decluttering my house. I just haven't had time to do it. Or haven't had taken the time. I should have more time towards the end of June though. Right now I've just been crazy busy. So I could have taken the time to declutter, but that would have meant I couldn't go live today, example wise. And I wanted to be with you guys. And I think this is much more fun than decluttering my home. So, yeah, there's that. It's much more fun. So it gets postponed, I guess, a bit. But I really should take some time to do some. And I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have a bit of time next week. One room at a time. Yeah, here too. One room at a time. A part of me feels like I'm decluttering as I'm destashing, slowly but securely. It will also help when I'm done, and hopefully. So right now, my goal is towards July to have that web store ready that I've been talking about. And that could maybe also help me declutter some, right? Could also be it's not a failure. And a part of me thinks that I'm sort of holding back because I subconsciously fear failure. But I think it's wrong to measure on instant success because while some crafters may do a drop of items and sell out within, let's say, 2 hours, I don't believe that's going to be the case for me. And I don't think I should measure myself compared to big famous crafters either. I should just be happy if something sells, and we will have to take it absolutely from there. And I'm 100% fine with it. And I need to get better at promoting myself, which I should know everything about how to do, given the fact that I have a background in marketing. So I just need to get started because I don't do markets either. There just isn't any in close region of where I am, and when there is, it's not really. I don't. It's more like a surprise rather than a clear communication of it. And I don't know if I feel like paying for that. I'd rather than just go straight on saying, okay, we'll do the web shop kind of thing. It's a broader reach. You're not dependent on having to sit somewhere or pay a booth fee. and you don't need to worry if the market attracts the right buyers either. Look, almost finished the skein. And that, my friends, is the first skein I've finished in July. So I kind of hope that will definitely help a bit of my destashing too. I also really need to go through like my closet in general, looking at old clothes and throw out what I don't fit anymore. Or what I simply haven't used for the last, let's say, 4 years, because why is it still there if I'm not using it? Okay, pattern time. I need to find the pattern. A size large, note, blah, blah, blah. Every round of grind stitches begin round 1 DC group to the right. Join the cream, last space, change the... Now you crochet to double crochet, fasten off. Repeat this round, color, snooker, whiskey, cream. Yeah, that's what I've done. Close the last round of cream. Did I start with cream? No, I didn't. Oh. I think I have a row extra then. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9. Okay, well, I guess it happens. Coolio. Apparently, this last round should have not, well, continue on the brim with the color. Well, this one. The question is, should I maybe just fit it? Should I just fit it? I think I should. Apple says we have quite a few markets here, but I don't think it would be worth it as people don't want to pay what I would charge for stuff. They don't value handmade, and the markets are all packed full of amigurumi makers. Yeah, and I'm definitely not a big amigurumi maker. I make a few, but that's kind of it. Hey, just give me a moment. I should first actually pop over here and we'll test, pre-test. Actually, I think that's okay, even though making the brim afterwards looks funky without. But that's not too bad. It's not that big as I thought it would be. Yeah, I'm not gonna frog that row. Nope. No. I am definitely not gonna frog if I don't have to. Not a chance. Not a chance. Continue with the brim and the collar. We could crochet 1, slip stitch in each, double crochet all the way around, and finish with a slip stitch in the last space on round blah, blah. Okay. Well, I'll definitely need to change yarn before we get there. Yeah, the fit looks good. And I even have an extra row, but apparently, well, shit happens. And I'm not gonna change that now. So I'm just gonna work from here on and wing it. So it says crochet 1 slip stitch in each double crochet all the way around. And finish with a slip stitch in the last space. Continue by working single crochets in the spiral. Oh, that's probably in the slip stitches then. The first round is worked in the loops that are behind the round of the slip stitches. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, I get it, I think. Hallelujah. So it's slip stitching time. Good afternoon, Helle. Good afternoon. We are bucket hatting. Actually, I had this yarn with me to Denmark. I just never got around starting this one because, well, everything else was in progress at that time. But apparently I've made an extra row of the granite clusters, but that's fine. I still really like how this looks. It's gorgeous. Abba says my sister does some of the markers. She makes and sells junk journals, although she doesn't sell many. Yeah, so that's kind of like I'm not really the one I go to the markets, and I don't feel like attempting to make a ton of amigurumi to go to markets. You know, I like the ability to do whatever I want. I don't mind making amigurumi once in a while, but it's no. Like I have a few things, but yeah. It's not really what I would want to primarily do, if that makes sense. Oopsie daisy. So yeah, so I'm kind of aiming towards July, and I think it's because a part of me wants to be perfect and have everything up running correctly, and have all of the items I want to throw on. And I'm like, Stina, no. I just need to launch when ready and have a few up. And if I have to add a few items every whatever day, it's fine. I don't need to do it all at once. I don't need a big launch. You know, I just need to jump into it and get started, if that makes sense. Upbo says she doesn't make any amigurumi. And of course, good morning to Helle. Hope she feels all right. It is afternoon where Helle is. And I definitely hope she feels all right too. But yeah, the amount of amigurumi I make can still be counted on like 2 hands in a year. So I don't not make lots of them. I don't make that much at all. When I've been making them, it's usually been with a purpose in mind. Like I did the chicken because for the fun of it, to see how have I developed. And in 2 years' time, I might do it again, but then I'd like to see how it looks with plush yarn. And then, you know, that's kind of it. And that will be it for, again, a period of time. But I do collect like my yarn scraps. I do collect them. And I put that in amigurumis as an example. So it has a purpose. So yeah. I split my yarn. Give me one moment, ladies. Don't. Oh my goodness. This goes really bad. There we are. So yeah, amigurumi is not a thing that I'm big into. I don't mind making them, but and I do definitely have like eyes for it and so on. And making a few is kind of okay, but as I said, it's not a big thing. I gave some away a year and a half ago for Christmas. And if I would sell them, it would require that would require yeah, that I'm satisfied with it and wanted to sell them. Guess what? I need to change yarn soon because there isn't much left. Alba says she also collects her yarn ends, but just display it in a jar. For once each year I can see what I've made. That's also a way of doing it. Yeah. I've actually been debating. A part of me really wanted to make some resin stuff. And I'm like, I could put yarn scraps into resin. Yeah, there are stricter rules, definitely. There's generally lots of things are stricter in Europe. On the political account, the Dutch cabinet or the Dutch government, Senate, whatever you want to call it, they crashed, as in we need a new government and new elections. They lasted for about a year, and then they disagreed, and now they need to write out a new election because they can't agree anymore. So the downside, of course, of all these is now I did slip stitches and I feel it's tighter. So now I need to I'll need a new fit. One moment, please. It still fits, but it's definitely a bit tighter in the brim. It still fits. I am though getting an issue now with my hair in the back because it's kind of nicely put up like this. Part of the reason for that is because I have an appointment later today where it's practical, it's not in my face. New skein. I just completed one skein of a Paris Unicolor 100% cotton, for those that's curious. Dye lot 59, which is the one that's called Old Rose. Light Old Rose. And it's 1.75 ounces or 50 grams, 75 meters to 82 yards. So it's regular classic DK, or well, not DK, Aran weight, Western weight cotton, whatever. Similar to the peaches and cream, I guess. But I just want to make the yarn ready for my next yarn change. What's then? So I finished this round and then I need to probably need to do one more to close it because it does say finish the last in the last space of the round. That would be this one. Like that I guess sort of works. Continue by working single crochets in the spiral. The first round is worked in the loops that are behind the round of slip stitches, which is Jesus. These. So that will be like this one. I did that back before I started on these, and that was also a bit of a mess to keep track of. But like this. Now I got started, so now it's easier. But just to get the first stitch in, hold your tongue straight. And now we have, I don't know, at best one more. And the new yarn. Then, my friends, we are on to a new yarn. And once I'm all the way around, I should have 88 stitches. Then we need to increase, but it's single crochets, so not a bunch of them. And then I really should be counting my stitches. But I guess I'm subconsciously hoping that I mathed correctly. We will have to see. But we changed yarn. I used up a skein, so I can add that to my spreadsheet. So what I'm doing this year is I'm literally keeping track on my destashing in a spreadsheet. And also my yarn purchases, etc. So I have a very clear overview if I've actually decreased my stash compared to the start. Because right now I just do the monthly updates, right? But at the end of the year, we'll have like a total overview. How much did I add in total? How much did I use in total? And everything, to actually see if I managed to destash. And yeah. Some things have definitely destashed a bit. And then I need to figure out what I'll be bringing to Denmark in a week and a half time. But I think I will first think about that next week. I don't think I will have enough time this weekend to actually do much crafting, so I've sort of decided on not bringing anything. Last year I had a bear shawl with me. This time I think I might just option for not bringing anything. I must say, so I was proud of myself. I put in a Temu order and I didn't even sneak in any yarn. I've been looking at some of their cakes and I think they look really nice, and I didn't get any either. What I did get some stitch markers actually, for knitting purposes. And I got some poms. And I got a silicone mold for another project I have in mind. Maybe I'll able to share some with you. Well, not this week, but soon. Appa says she got a yarn spinner and a project bag for her daughter for her birthday. Yeah, like the yarn spinners I have. They are really good, I think. Good yarn spinners for a good price. Quite happy with mine. I also have a double one, which right now this sounds crazy. I actually use two individuals instead of the double I have. Like I have like a side by side one, because I realized that while that seemed like a really great idea, bottom line is that it won't work in reality because there isn't enough space between them to let a 3.5 ounce cake spin decently. So I'm actually been debating if I should put it on the Dutch crafting marketplace to see if anyone would want to buy it there, and then plainly sell it. I also have some yarns that I'm likely not going to be using myself, which I've been debating on selling on that marketplace. Some of those yarns which I got in lucky bags, or it was a side yarn for, like, I made a bigger yarn purchase, which was like, you know, buy my stash or buy this lot of yarn, but you get these yarns are like kind of included, and some of them has just been a really good deal. So I still got them, if that makes sense. Abba says I have a single and double as well, but I did add another single for myself too. I have the same problem with the double spinner. Yeah. Susan suggests me to sell some yarn to help de-stash. Yeah, the thing is, I don't want to sell all my yarn. I just want to sell those yarns that I definitely know that I probably won't be using. But the real question is then, Susan, if I do sell this yarn for de-stashing, will it count towards decreasing my stash? Technically, it's a decrease, but I didn't use it, if that makes sense. That would be the big argument. What I could also consider, yes, it will count. Oh, yeah, it definitely counts towards less room, or less room occupied in my house. I could also option to put some of that yarn on the App Store, I guess. The nasty downside is obviously shipping, because the shipping is a real dreadful thing, which, however we put it, cannot get around. Now the big question is if I need to do that stitch there or not. So I have to counting. De-stashing, not working up yarn. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? This is a very clear difference between de-stashing and not working it up. Who says you have to be the person who uses it? Valid. So give me one more. I need to count to 88. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. 2, 4, 6, 8, 40. 2, 4, 6, 8, 50. 2, 4, 6, 8, 60. 2, 4, 6, 8, 70. 2, 4, 6, 8, 80. 2, 4, 6. I'm missing 2 stitches. So I'll definitely have to work up stitches there. Okay. Susan says my goal is to work up my stash. Yeah. My goal isn't necessarily to sell my stash either. But I guess I'm also realistic enough to know that there are just some aspects of my stash I won't be using. So it will declutter my stash, definitely. By doing that. Okay, like that. Then we sort of added them in. I think. Well, not like that. I need to have the next loop with me too. Like that. Unless that's counted as a stitch. Well, it technically should be. La 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 la. Okay. First round, 7 single crochets increase, repeat all the way to round, so you get 99 stitches. Okay. So that's a question if that's a stitch. If that's a stitch, that's why I missed the one which I have extra there. So we could gamble and say that's a stitch. And then else we'll have to make an extra increase. Well, I miss one completely total. So we do 7 single crochets and we do an increase, and we'll do that all the way around. If that's a rule you set for yourself, then I'm cheering for you, Susan. Oh, but I'm always cheering for people wanting to work up their stash. Just started Bago Day's Taste of Honey shawl with Premier Cotton College. Okay. Well, she does have some really nice patterns, doesn't she? 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then it's increase. Oh, you didn't pick the right yarn. Which yarn did you pick? Or should have picked a different yarn. I need to think about what shawl I'll make after the PuErhTea. I guess 2, 4, 6, 7. Increase. I'm just putting a stitch marker in to remind myself, so I don't need to sit to count aloud for you guys. So I have this idea of things I want to make. She's working on a new square design, which looks really nice. And I still wanted to make the cowl. So I could option to bring that with me to Denmark. So I'll bring a cake and just work on the cowl. That or a knitting project. I'm just not sure if I have enough time to actually finish the knitting project there. I'd rather not travel with knitting unless it's a smaller project like a hat. 4, 6, 7, 8. I tried starting the cashmere shawl. It's overlay mosaic, and I picked Stanley cotton cakes, but it's super fine, and I picked a black yarn. Oh yeah, that's not ideal. I had to use a 2.5mm hook with the yarn. Oh, Christ. No, that's not fun, especially not when it's black. I'll cheer for a different yarn. I think. Yeah, different yarn. I do have a few knitting projects laying, waiting on me. A few yarns that I need to knit into something. So I need to decide on what I do. So if I bring a knitting project, what I would have to do is I'll definitely have to like kind of both start it and hopefully finish it. I'm just not 100% sure if I have time enough for it, because my next visit there is a shorter visit compared to some of the others I've had. The good thing is once we go there in July, we are driving the whole way, and I won't be driving all the way, so I can crochet during transportation. And then that period, I always also have fully time off from work, which means that I have time to just actually enjoy and relax. That is a good thing too. Um, mm, mm, mm. So I'll either bring a new bigger crochet project or a single knitting project. Choices, choices. I still have time to think, which would probably be the better option. Boom, boom. Also on the other hand, since that I'm likely to visit a hobby, there is also a risk of inspiration or getting something else. So, depends on what's for sale. And if I urgently need something, why don't you bring your shawl? It's not practical to fly with, because I would put it in my luggage for the check-in. I don't have room in my handbag luggage because I travel with a bunch of laptops, etc., for work. So therefore, it's not ideal. So I need to kind of pack it in, and because I do a center pull, I'm afraid it's collapsing and make yarn bath. So it will stay at home. If I do travel with the shawl, I need to do from the outside of the cake pull, if that makes sense. Work from the outside rather than the center pull. This really kind of goose in a bit. Believe the process, believe the process, believe the process. Have faith. I almost feel I should have done those grannies in a smaller hook size, looking at how it looks right now, but maybe it's not too bad. So yeah, so else it would have been a really good suggestion actually, and I had definitely been keen on bringing it, but I'm basically afraid it turns into yarn bath because it's an inside pull. Or rewind the cake backwards so it's an outside pull. I could do that, but that takes time, and I don't really exactly have a ton of time coming. Like every day has something. Today, me and my partner is going for a competition on our way, which we kind of said yes we could do, but in reality we don't really have time to. And that takes the whole evening. Tomorrow, I'm working packing and leaving for this event in Belgium where we'll be, and that will be hands-on all weekend. And I really mean hands-on all weekend, as in, yeah. I won't have time to sit down and breathe and crochet or anything. We'll be home Monday, then Tuesday, the whole adventure starts over in the sense of, so I'll be live Wednesday, but Tuesday, my partner has something barbecue thing, so I have a little bit more calm Tuesday, but I still have like plenty of things to do because I need to do all the laundry and everything else. because I need to be ready for the Sunday. Wednesday, Thursday, we are building up for an event at the club. So that we are gone in the evening. Friday, it's club evening and youth training. Saturday, we have the youth competition final at the club. So that is the event we're building for. And Sunday morning, I'll be in an air flight to Denmark. I don't know when in between I should have time to also just remember to cake up something. So I really need to not too much thinking. 2, 4, 6, 7. So I'd rather just start a new project, or maybe bring a couple of skeins for a double knit or something like that hat. I'm right now at least at a stage where it no extra work, please. I don't have the time for it. I do though have that's also an interruption, that a hat that I had planned to make quite a while ago, but I didn't start on. That's a different one. I could bring that one. That's crochet though. That or knit hat. But as I said, crochet is easier to bring within the craft because you'll just add the stitch marker and it doesn't unravel. Knitting, you need to ensure the needles are well tight and shut off and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, still an anxious fear that it will unravel on the flight. In the car, I have less worries because, I've done that before. Start a Moroccan mint. We know you love those puff stitches. Definitely not. I will have to make them recommend at some stage, though. That's a different story. I was thinking about the cowl in Azalea. Green Masha cowl or something like that. I need to find it. And I need to be careful that I don't get too inspired by other stuffs. Ginger tea cowl. The ginger tea cowl. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Shopping. Here we go. Not shopping, but I already have the pattern from the Plus subscription. And this one I wanted to make. That could be an option, which is basically just a square where you sew on some buttons for it. Right? And then I wanted to do this with the Azalea I have. So this is in a Sultan shadow. And I was considering using this, which is a 52% cotton, 48% acrylic, because I have the Royal Command, which I think could be really gorgeous with it. And I also have the Home Bush, which is more like a teal colored. And I do believe I also have the Berry Rose. And then I'm wondering if I have the Aurora. But I was actually thinking of making it either in the Royal Command or in the Home Bush. This ginger tea. I think that could work up nicely. And it's not a too big cake, and it's definitely more than enough for me to have that finished within a week because I'm doing other things than just crochet when I'm there. So that's an option. That is an option that I'm considering. Yeah, it should be more manageable for traveling. That's kind of why I've been considering that as an option. Because it's a smaller cake, so that could definitely work. And else, in worst case, I can always make a wire shawl or something like that. That's easy. I don't need to think too much about it. I definitely have cakes enough to make one. I do apologize. Career 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7. Then we'll do an increase, and then I should have 8 stitches left for the increase. So 1, 2. Seems like I'm one short, actually. So I did count wrong. Oh well, then we'll be 1 stitch short in the brim. I don't think that's gonna destroy the whole pattern. We should be fine. Crochet the second round. A bunch of single crochets, no counting. I love that. Me love that. But yeah, no, we won't finish this one today. That's probably gonna be for next week. I think that's too optimistic. All these single crochets. And I think I've been learning while doing this one. So that's not too bad. Learned the pattern. So yeah, on Friday I'll be here with the yarn talk. Though that said, I am recording that one tomorrow. I try to usually actually on Thursdays unless something gets in the way. Not much tea left. But I'm not too surprised. I also used it for lunch. Normally I make a complete new for myself, so I do have half a glass of lemonade as well. But I just wanted to say, don't forget to hydrate yourselves. That is important to stay hydrated. I'm just making a pile of bowl cozies as started Christmas presents already. Ah, good plan. I don't know if I have any Christmas projects like that, because fundamentally that requires me to know what I want to make for Christmas. And to make multiple for the family, I'm not sure if that is a forte of mine currently. Don't even yet know how Christmas looks like due to my mom, but we kind of hope everything is gonna be fine and we all have a normal Christmas. 2 years ago when we did Christmas in Denmark, well, a year and a half technically seen, I started a project there, and my partner was very clear that I was awfully boring because we were crafting during Christmas rather than being present. So I will need to make sure that I am present this year because it's not fair to him. Like, I can both craft and talk, but for him, he's not present in the same way. I would like to have between 40 and 50 made. That is a fair bit to get started on. Yeah. And things just takes longer, right? Handmade takes time. And you are right, not everybody values the time spent to make something handmade. And that is the thing, fundamentally seen, that that not everybody actually values it enough, and value the time you put into it. Because a part of me is like, okay, I'm not making that many things because apparently it takes longer than I think. And at the same time, I'm like, oh my goodness, I made lots of stuff. And then when I realize how much time it takes for me to make, I'm like, all those hours, like I could have used for other things. So I've been boggling about things in life generally. What do I want to do? And I can't really seem to make a decision on some aspects. Like, do I want to get back to competing? Yes, because it would be better for me in the sense of it would force me to get a bit fitter, which I really love to get. But at the same time, does it make sense because of politics? Believe it or not, sport is politics. But I need to be able to set goals. I like goal setting. I'm a competitive spirit, right? So I like being able to set goals. But right now, like, I'm not able to set goals of where I can excel compared to what I've done in the past. Susan asked, what patterns do you use for bowl cozy? And Apple says, I'm using a Backward pattern, just didn't do her last few rows. Okay. She put a pretty scallop border on hers that I'm not doing, but I want to give them to some, as I want to give them to some men. Yeah, they probably wouldn't appreciate the scallops. Or would appreciate it less, I'd imagine. So that was another row. Hallelujah. So what is next? I need to increase. So we need to single crochet 4, increase, then 8 single crochets. And then we end with 4 increase and 4 singles on the last bit. Okay. To where I'm probably missing a stitch, but we have gotten used to that. And it's 1 stitch in the whole scale of things. So 2, 3, 4, and increase. I like that it's decreasing unevenly in the sense of that she doesn't do the increases all the same places on this pattern. So that kind of helps even it out, which I think that's nice. It makes it for a nicer look. 2, 4, 6, 8. Increase. Upload says you have the pattern memorized now. It takes about 45 minutes to make one. Nice. Still, if you make 40 to 50 of them, or 45 minutes, it's a full work week of making the same, and you probably wouldn't want to do that for a whole week for 8 hours a day. What can I say? I really do not miss my old job. I do not miss it at all. You know, I've looked at my payment sheet and compared it to my old one. And yes, I do get a bit less money, which I knew because I'm working part-time before I worked full-time. But you know what? The salary increase, if you look at just at the hours worked, is so much better because while I only get 300 euros less a month paid out, I work 16 hours less each week. That's crazy. Susan asks which cotton she's using, and answers Burnout Handicrafter. I don't have a lot of options locally. And we talked about Bernat Handicrafter the other day. 2, 4, 6, 8, which could probably also work with my with the bags that I made, the bag pattern that I shared the other day, Monday. I'm actually curious if I could get Bernat Handicrafter on Amazon, shipped locally to me, and then how much more expensive it is, because I don't think there is any local stores by any chance selling that, but I'm curious if it's accessible on Amazon. They do have some. Handicrafter yarn. There is. Hallelujah. Except if I look at the prices of this, oh my jolly go. It's not cheap. They want 9 euros per skein. Holy crap. And that's the small skeins of like 50 grams. How much are they in the stores over there? Like, for this price, I'd never buy them. Crickets. They do have one of the bigger one in the ombre salt pepper print, which is a 400 gram for $26.69, but that still sounds really expensive though. But it's a lot cheaper compared to the small skeins. I kind of do like the look of it. That could be pretty cool actually for something. Damn. But it's still like, it sounds really expensive. To be honest, €9 for a 50 gram cotton skein. I can get these for less than 2, just saying. Same weight. It's a fifth of the price. And reasonably soft. It's a rough cotton. Yeah, then I definitely wouldn't want to pay €10 for one skein. Oh my goodness. Susan says, I love buying the mystery bag of 100% cotton from Mary Maxim. Yeah, I have the similar from Hobby though. At those 50 gram skeins, they're about $2.50. Yeah. Well, then multiply that by 5. You'll have what I would pay for it at the current exchange rate. Just not worth it. Not happening. I just bought the salt and pepper in 400 gram skein for $12, where I'll still pay like, that price was a bit better, but still probably like 130% more price wise. 140 maybe, but still. Janspiration claimed that they ship to Europe, but you know the thing is, no matter what I look at on the Janspiration's website, it all says sold out. So I don't think they want to ship to Europe. To be fair, so when I go look at their Janspiration's website, and if I wanted to order from them, they just say sold out. Everything. Doesn't matter which yarn I look at, it's all sold out. Yeah. Seems like it. Well, Amazon obviously is expensive as well. That said, that salt and pepper, would you make a bag from it? Like, would you realistically think you would want to make a bag from it? Though I think it's expensive still. If I could get it for 12, I would buy it. But I don't want to buy it for the price they're asking. Oddball says she's made bag from Handicrafter. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I'm increasing on the brim right now. Look, look, look. We are increasing slowly. It's like the first row was a normal row, and then was a row of increase, and then a normal row, and now I'm increasing again. Every 8 stitches I'm increasing. That's why I move my stitch mark around, so I don't need to count as much while actually doing the stitches between the increases. I'm getting there, I guess. I am on there. I'm on the 3rd round of the brim, and it should have like 10, I think. So we won't finish it this live. That's not happening. So This one will not be finished either this week. It will first be finished next week. If I will change color again, what does the pattern say? I'm not sure actually. Yeah, the two last row is different. I think there's actually 12 rows around. But the last two rows will be one row of each. So yeah, there will be another color change at some stage, just not today. Because I'm realistic. I have like half an hour left, and that won't happen today. 4, 6, 8. Susan says she doesn't mind handicrafter. It sounds like I'm frozen. I look frozen. I hope I didn't freeze with you guys. Susan says don't mind half the credit coven. It made for pot holders, dishcloths, etc. Okay. Do you guys have me frozen, or looks like I'm frozen? I am sorry. Which I don't understand because it's like full connection. I'm back. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. Technical issues. Yeah, I blame YouTube. My internet is good. Like, that's not an issue. It's not a cotton that could even be considered for garments. Yeah, this one I wouldn't mind making garments of. It's nice and soft, actually. I'd definitely be open for a top in that. Though I'd rather have them as double crochet than single crochet, because this feels a bit soft up here than it does feel down here, because it's tighter stitching for the single crochets. Oh my goodness. 2, 4, 6, 8. I need an extra here. That's, my friends, is how you miss stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8. It's nice. Like, you could probably also make a nice top of this. Okay, I have connection again. I looked like I had frozen again. Not cool. 2, 4, 6, 8. And the increase spot. I was talking earlier about a knit t-shirt I'd love to make. Let's just finish this row and see what the next row is. It sure makes the Pima cotton I'm using for my blanket feels extra soft. Oh, I can imagine. That I can imagine. I also have to say this unicolor is a lot different beast to work with compared to the recycled denim I used for the Sunshine shopper bag. This is a lot softer and friendlier to your hands. I bought a bunch of 99 cents beautiful Danish cotton from Hirschner's called Garn Royale. It's very thin but soft. It's probably like a 1 to 2 weight, like an what would consider hobbies 4/8 or 8/4. And that's the thing. Sometimes there can be some really good deals on Danish cotton yarns or Danish brands. Mayflower has some really nice stuff too. That is, by the way, also where the knit pattern is from. Like, I want to knit this. I genuinely want to, and if I don't, I need to find somebody that does want to knit it for me. But I'd like to attempt it myself. It's 8/4. Yeah, would be good for shawls. Like, you could easily make a good shawl with it, especially if it's like similar to the softer ones. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'll see if I can find that pattern in a minute. I just want to finish this row. And increase. And we have 1 increase left. 2, 4, 6, 8. Increase. So I used the Hobbies 4/8 for the Jasmine T-shirt in different colors. And I actually have a bunch of 4/8 upstairs that I should, at some stage, probably also work up a shawl from. That was this round complete, and the next round is a bunch of single crochets all the way around. And honestly, that's not gonna be right now because we are gonna talk about other fun stuff. But for the look of it, this is the direction we are taking. I can't really squeeze it completely out, but for the matter of speaking. Ta-ta! So 4th round is a bunch of single crochets, and I don't feel in the mood to do that right now. I wanna find that pattern. and then I'll share with you guys. It's a gorgeous t-shirt that I'd really love to make. So I am gonna probably finish up this for the day. Oh no, my PC almost froze. Apple says I have 6 donors of Diablo Multi that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. That could also be some nice mesh something, I guess. Just chatting, streaming. We'll need this one. So let's get me back up to my living face. And that would be this one. Then I need to find, I shared it with, I have the idea that I shared it with my mom last time I was at home because I found it last time when I was home. I was like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. So the real question is if where I shared it and which chat did I share it? This one. And it's loading. So let's pop over here and see. This top, my friends, this I want to make. Oh, it's not exactly very friendly. This one. No, I want to make this. Isn't this gorgeous? Diablo is made by Hobby. It's like a fluffy yarn, like a bit like mohair-ish type, but I do not recall if there's mohair in it. But it seems a bit like mohair yarns. But this t-shirt, I'd love to knit this one. I think it's a gorgeous one. This one I'd really love to make. It's made with the Amalfi yarns. So let's go have a look at this. Mayflower is a Danish yarn store. And it's knit, obviously. And my challenge is I can't knit for the life of me. Well, I can, but not this yet. So this is in my dream. This is what I want to be able to knit. I want to be able to knit this, right? There's mohairs in Diablo, okay. Linda Simpson knits beautiful tops. She does. She does. So this I would like to know. And it's 50%, 52% cotton and 48% bamboo viscose. So it's like natural yarn. And look at the shine. Oh my goodness. And this is like the color template. They made it in this asters, but tried in like the Greek blue here. Or maybe the darks, not dark sage. This one, fern, is also nice. Or the plum. This is a nice color too. Dove blue. This is nice too. It's probably because I'm not too much of a purple girl in the sense of I'd probably more be into this one, the asters. Or the Greek blue. Or petrol could be nice too, I guess. But I think it comes more to its right in a lighter color, this one. But it's a gorgeous pattern. Yeah, it's in a very advanced knit. And that's why I'm saying I'm not able to do that one yet. But I want to make it. But before I get there, I need to be able to knit a bit better. But this is what I want eventually to be able to do. It might take a few years before we get there. So the real question I need to ask myself is, do I want to buy the pattern and the yarn and then just have it in my stash for being able to make it eventually? Or will there be some place where we'll be able to actually feel these yarns, like in hand? Are they retailed anywhere? Outlook, package brands, designer collection patterns, free shipments on orders above 57. Yes, sweet. That is not what I'm asking. I'm asking for resellers. Physical stores. Yes, please. No. I'm waiting to get my knitting machines going. Then I'm going to make all kinds of garments. That's a nice thing. Use up your stash. Yes. But what if I can't get this yarn anymore? Save 25% on all orders using spring at checkout. See, there's even a discount going on. I want to buy on. The problem is just physical stores, Brønderslev, selling Aalborg and in Aarhus. I would have to be in Aarhus one day. And I don't come to Aarhus very often. I used to. Damn. See, that's like nice looking. I wanna go there. Should probably just order online at some stage, but not yet. But what I should do is I should bookmark this one. Boom. So I don't forget about it. That was clever. Bookmarked. Bookmarked. And then, yeah. Don't buy it now, it will haunt you. You can always use a different equivalent yarn. Yeah, but it looks so nice. I just need to get better at knitting really, really, really soon. Like ASAP would be nice. I guess. That's not really on the agenda right now, I guess. So, what did we obtain and complete today? We completed a couple of rows here, actually. Like a good piece. I just put all the yarns inside. They're kind of acting as a basket right now. We didn't do anything on the PuErhTea, but it's laying there. Maybe I'll have time to do a little bit more on the PuErhTea so I can at least finish the row before the yarn. I should have time for that, I think. If we're not too late home tonight, I don't know yet. That's pretty much it. Because yeah, I need to look at my stash for knit projects and more crochet projects and take some photos and get things docked and do a launch, do a presentation, I guess. Yeah. Crazy. Kind of excited, but it's just so many things going on. So towards end of April, they do have some nice stuff there. And I would still need to get the pattern, I think. I think it's a purchased pattern. Or maybe you get the pattern including. Designer collection. What does this mean? Like, if you purchase it, you get it with the yarn, but is it actually a paid pattern? Give me a moment. It is a paid pattern. €6.72. Okay. Which is fair enough. It's a nice pattern though. I can also consider getting the yarn. Like, my mom should get healthy again, and then maybe she wants to knit it for me if she feels fit. That's a future goal. um Whip stresses me out, so I don't have many. I don't have that many whips actually. I do have, well, I have one I've kind of deshelved a bit because I'm not sure if what's gonna do from it. Then another one because I'm simply not fitting it, or I need a mannequin to help me fix it. Boss says she also gets stressed from too many whips. So I don't have many. Right now I only have 3. Like I'm actively working on. And it's just because it's nice to be able to shift projects based on how my hands feel. Hello, Jeannie. Welcome to this live. Jeannie Aga Pro 31 Yarn asks, hi, I have a question. You made a shawl by drops. Did you have any issues with the pattern? Yes and no. Depends on what pattern we're talking about. So drops patterns are notoriously known for being poorly written, and you need to be able to read diagrams. Regardless, some of the patterns are written, and you need to read them. Like, make sure you read them a bunch of times, and then their chances of making mistakes are less. But sometimes they're just frustratingly poorly written. So yeah, I've had my challenge in bumping into issues. I've also had other challenges where some of them went smooth as sails. So it really depends on the pattern because they're also made from different designers. So it kind of depends. It depends on the individual patterns, but they're all free. So my best advice, and that's what I don't do, that's why I can now give it as an advice. Read the pattern through a couple of times and make sure you understand it. And if you do, it's probably not that bad to make. But what I do is I tend to see a pattern and I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. I want to make this. And then I buy the yarn and then I'm doing it. And then when I'm doing it, that is when I read through the pattern and I'm like, this is lots of swearing words can be inserted right here. The crescent shawl. The crescent shawl. Gun Studio. We do have a few minutes, so we can have a look. Let's see. And I want the US Canadian for the matter of speaking. Let's pop back to the drops website here. Crescent shawl. Apparently, I can't spell or find it. We are sorry. We are sorry. Okay. I am sorry too. You did it a nice green and it's beautiful. That's the Thoughts of Ireland, I think. That was not too bad. This one. That was not too bad. But mine ended up a bit smaller. And the really challenge here, because it wasn't 100% alpaca and a very lightweight alpaca, some of the rows barely added anything to the shawl because it was like single crochet, and then it was like single crochet in the first or back front loop or back loop only, and then the next row was like, so it was really it took a long time. So the bits like the first bit where you can see it's quite airy, that's a bunch of treble crochets, and that really went smooth sails. But that last bit when it really like the rows get longer and there are really some rows where you barely make any progress because it's then single crochet in the back loop only, and then the next row is like single crochet in the front loop only or something like that. Maybe not exactly like, but it felt similar. And that, yeah, that was really it challenged my patience because of the drop cell packet was worked up in. Personally, I would probably choose a little bit of a thicker yarn because I feel the drop cell packer is probably like a 1 weight, and I think I would have done a 2 weight, like in hindsight. So something similar to like you could probably work it up really nicely in a yarn cake, maybe. I have like a skein left even. So I only used like 4 skeins on this. It said you need 5. So I have 1 skein left, which I'm probably gonna double strand with an acrylic and knit a hat because I don't know else what to use the yarn for. And that should be enough for that. But so it's nice, but I'm not sure if I would personally make it again. And if I would definitely probably use a different yarn than the one they used because that was really rough on my patience in the smaller rows. So this is basically this you have to be able to read pattern because it's like work 5 chains, this blah blah blah. Then it says here, see diagram 1A. So we can scroll down to find diagram 1A. This is diagram 1A. So this is a circle, and then that's a bunch of chains in the beginning where you work, and so this is treble. That is single crochets around the chain. And I'm not sure what these rounds are. Around the chain, increase 1 chain space by working 2 chain spaces as shown in diagram. Okay, so each of them you need to sometimes increase by adding an extra chain. I'm not really sure if I did that or not. But so you need to really like read all this through and understand the diagrams. And if you can, this pattern were okay, but you really have to read carefully the description of everything on this pattern. It's not like a walk in the park. But that's the thoughts of Ireland. So I think if you look at the skills you need for crocheting, for the stitch wise, it's not a bad pattern. Like it's not that advanced, but you do need to have an understanding on diagrams because else I would not recommend you to do it. Because you need like a chain 5 in the round. You need to be able to do chain stitches. So it's like they have 1 from 1 chain, 3 chains. Then there's a single crochet in the back loop of the stitch. If you work on the back side of the project, if you work on the front side of the project, it's a single crochet in the front loop of the stitch. Then it's half double crochet around the chain space. Then there's a double crochet around the chain space. Then there is, from the right side, it's a double crochet in the back loop of the stitch. From the wrong side, it's a double crochet in the front loop of the stitch. There is treble crochet around the chain stitch space. And then there is a bubble stitch as well. And to work the bubble stitches, it is work a bubble crochet, but wait with the last yarn over and pull through. Work 3 treble crochets around the same chain space, but wait with the last yarn over and pull through each of the loops of the double crochets. Work a double crochet around the chain space, but the last pull yarn through all the loops on the hook. So that is like, keep your head focused, basically. So that's kind of the whole description of all the diagrams, and you need to really pay attention to the diagrams. That's how I made it through, and I am like today I'm still not sure if I would want to make it again. It wasn't difficult, it was just a lot to keep track of, and I chose to bring this with me on a trip to Denmark, and I was in a car and I didn't have it printed out. It was my phone, which was like a really long PDF I was trying to go through. So it was not ideal. It was not ideal, but it worked. Yeah, valid. Oddball says I also stitched tight. Janine says, thank you, very well explained on your part. And I can only say thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my goodness. I need to say thank you in a very nice, thankful manner. thank you so much. That's literally just on the falling border here because it's like 5 p.m. for me and I really need to slowly get going. Thank you. I wanted to know if you had any issues. Depends. I'm not sure if I would use the drops alpaca yarn for it though. I think if you used like a thinner cotton, like a 4/8 cotton or like the yarn art flowers, etc., that would probably work up nicely. Lengthwise on the cake, would probably actually also have enough yarn to do it, given the yarn gauge got on the drops alpaca. So that's my general thought. Totally, it was totally a dance sport. It was so much appreciated, and I'm always happy to answer any questions I'm able to answer. Bye, Susan. Take care. And yeah, absolutely, you're very welcome yourself. Was a pleasure to explain a bit. It's upstairs. I'm not sure what I'll do with the shawl, but it challenged my patience. And that's maybe because I stitched tightly, could be. But I think if I would make it again, I would probably maybe see if I could make it in a cotton to see how that would turn out. And I think I might be less frustrated with it in a cotton because that alpaca thread of the drops alpaca is very thin. It's like thinner than a 4/8 cotton. A DK yarn. Yeah, that could probably work. I would probably take a thinner DK yarn. So I think it was a 3mm crochet hook. I would probably not go much larger than a 4.5 for the pattern because then I think it loses a bit of its intricacy. So like a thinner DK weight. You did a great job and it looks very pretty anyways. Thank you. Thank you. I still need to block it. It's kind of been in my to-do blocking list. That's kind of sad actually, but I still need to block it. I do need to block it still. I did get the wool wash for it, for blocking it, because it's 100% alpaca. Now you actually might make me want to consider trying it again in a different yarn. Yeah, I might in a different yarn. But I don't think I'll do it in the Hobbies alpaca again. No. That is not meant for me. Not meant for me. I'm going to say thank you everybody so much. It is, as I said, it's 5 p.m. here in Central Europe, here in the Netherlands, and I have to get ready for life that happens now. I need to pack down everything here in my living room so we can eat, and then well, my partner's on his way home from work, and then obviously we'll be heading out for the evening. I'll be away for the whole evening, and sometime in between I need to sort laundry and pack for the weekend, and yeah, many things going on. So in between, I'll hope to find time to finish that round on the PuErhTea Shawl for the Yarn Talk, and I'll see you all Friday on my next Yarn Talk video. And then live-wise, I will be back with you guys on Wednesday. So unless anything else crazy happens or I do suddenly get extra time, I will see you guys on Wednesday here live at the same time. So from 2 p.m. Central European time, so that's about 8 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to say take care, everybody. Stay safe and healthy. Happy crafting. Until see you again. Bye.